Hello and welcome to the next episode. We have entered episode 24 already, and with Super America done and South America or the South American Union well on its way, I'm going to probably do a bit of a larger time skip now because we have a lot of research to do. And what I want to highlight, well, we are going to talk about the choke point when the quest is done later this year. And what I want to highlight now is, as we saw in the last episode, with doing a double advice on America, we are currently investing 51 points into knowledge here, which is a very, very large amount. And we are going to improve on this by hunting down knowledge orcs. I already saw that I had one unassigned here, so that's going to be the Akima Fund here. So that's 5% more additional knowledge. And there's a Lotus Fund here, which is going to give us 88%. So that's going to give us a very big buff to knowledge investment again. So we are currently at 51.8 investment points. Let's see where we are going to be after the next two advice missions here. So probably around 53, I would guess. And yeah. Ooh, we should get this one home. So, no, that's not a good idea that it disembarks from here. It should go to home territory first, like this. And then we can maybe just heal there a bit. Yeah, also these armies that are currently annexing in South America are costing us investment points, because when they are busy, they cost us double the investment points than when they are not busy. And now we have to get started on fixing things that came from what we did here. So we are going to
I'm here.
We are going to stabilize South America here, but we're also going to start taking over Peru here.
The opposition.
Ready.
And Otis has to do public campaigns over here to fix the cohesion problems
What's
we
the
have in the US. And Kirsten, what are you going to do? You could also purge something, maybe? Yeah, we can take Paraguay already, so let's do this. So we're going to start to take over the remaining countries here before we invade them and annex them into the Union here. But now, is there a new orc here? Ooh, we got another 13% here. Okay, now we have to consider what to more or less throw away here. That's a very hard question, though. Does Sarah still have capacity here? Yes, we can do one more admin. So we have 1 point left. We would need to get rid of something. Maybe we just sell the information science, because this one isn't important anymore now. Then we can buy the 7% knowledge here. Of course, the information science will still be important somewhat, but we are currently going into mostly material and energy science projects for the fusion technologies. So it will be, and also there will be military projects for the weapons and ship modules that we have to do. Okay, and Kirsten here has also... You are currently at 25 admin. We can't buy... No, we can't buy enough to get rid of one of those modules though. So I'm considering if I want to maybe get rid of one of those here. But we would lose boost, but that's okay. Maybe there's something better we can get rid of somewhere. There's something we don't need. Yeah, like we don't need this one anymore here. Yeah, let's get rid of 2 persuasion. That's not worth it. Instead, we... Oh, wait a second. He's sociopath, yeah. In this case, we just slept in the information science again here. We need someone without sociopath. This one is also sociopath. That's a problem. So it's again Sarah or it's Ian. Maybe we can buff up Ian because we have a lot of experience points here which we can use. We need 3 stars though. We have to free up 3 stars. This one is 9 points we get from this one. That's a lot. This one is 4. This one is 2. 3. Ouch. 26. Ah, wait a second. We are 26 admin here already. So we can buy the intelligent assistant for money. And we skill 1 admin. And then we can unassign this one. So now we have 1 free point. We just need 2 more. And we are still at 25 admin. So we have to get rid of something with 2. So probably either the 2 1s here. 3, 2, 3. Okay, it's going to be these 2 here. Then we can pick up the Antares Fund here. 6 more knowledge. Awesome. And now I'm going to be very curious what... We got 107% now. That's so much. Let's see where we are going to be on the points invested here.
Offering counsel.
59. Nice. So that was a very good boost. 59 points is really a lot. Now we're going to see this effect very quickly here in the cohesion, which is going to go up extremely fast. We can even scale down the inequality a bit, because we are, on paper, we are fine with the cohesion rest value when the public opinion has gone up again. So 66 points now per month into knowledge. That's going to boost up the education score like crazy.
Public sentiment is increasingly
we
with
got
us.
just 10% public opinion here, which boosted our cohesion value to 3.3 already from 2.8. So that was a massive boost.
Situation remains chaotic.
Permanent police here. Oh, resurvey. Ooh, that's a bad event. It's only minus 25%. Ah, okay. Thank God. And let's see how much we got in this mission phase here. Yeah, it's going up quickly. It's going up really, really quickly now. Ah, more weapons. We need those. Awesome. Yeah, that's going to be a very quick change of things. So we can remember it's roughly 1.1 before modifiers here. 1.1k. Let's see where we are in like 2 months when everything is progressing nicely. And now I'm going to focus back on the conquest of South America here. Okay, a few months have passed, and as we can see, the cohesion is up to 2.5. Our cohesion rest value is fluctuating between 2.8 and 3.3 to 3.5, depending on our public opinion. There are some agents from other factions which are pushing against us. You can also see that the Initiative and Protectorate are back in the game, so they have reclaimed their councilors again, so we wouldn't need to go after them again to weaken them. Not sure if I want to currently. I'm rather considering if I maybe want to do the same with the servants now, that I'm going to seek one out and then destroy the faction more or less by bankrupting them. So for that we would need to... Yeah, they're close to their capacity cap, so when we bring them over by taking out an agent, they will immediately get short on influence as well. So that would be useful. And I think I'm going to accept the initiative for now. And Protectorate, I'm not sure what to do as of yet. We maybe go after them once again later, but not currently. So maybe I should start searching for someone. Maybe... Do we have someone... Is there something in a servant country by accident? Something like suspicious? Yeah, here. In Indonesia. Let's find out who that is. Maybe that's a servant. Then we can flip him to our side so that we get intel on the servants and then we start taking them out. I didn't continue here conquering South for now because I have cohesion problems in South America here, which I need to fix now first. So I'm going to boost welfare and economy, which are our biggest impacts on the cohesion here currently. And I mean, the economy not necessarily, but I just boosted a bit so that we get rid of the minus 0.091. And yeah, the welfare for the inequality to get some cohesion this way. because we still are at a minus 5.2, we can at least reduce that to minus 3 or something. And then I will have to go back into government here, of course, which is the long-term goal, so that we can peacefully annex Argentina. We could annex the Chile already, because this one is not a hostile claim. But we can also just max out the mission control first and reduce the inequality first. So we do have the control points for this. We are not in a hurry here. Meanwhile, the US are still pumping quite a lot into knowledge here. The base value went up from 1.1k up to 1.6k now, so that's a significant boost. And
Acknowledged.
this is, of course, pretty awesome. Sadly, we can't boost science further on her curve for now. That would be very good if we would have a 25 science counselor. But we had so many other priorities that I didn't pay attention to this. And that would yield to significantly more science. We are also on the coil guns, the improved ones, MK2 here. We don't want to go into the MK3 as of now, because the MK3 will require us to have exotics stockpiled. So if we go into advanced coil guns, here we can see the module will require us to have like 0.48 exotics on the heaviest battery, which we don't have currently. I mean, we have 3, but that's not enough for a lot of ships. So instead, I'm pushing them very slowly, these techs here, and then we can upgrade the coil cannons when it's time on our coil ships. And meanwhile, we are pushing into fusion here. So deuterium is running, arc lasers is running, ultra capacitors is also almost done. So we are pretty close to getting towards the magnetic nozzle, and then we can go into fusion drives, which will end this campaign very quickly when we have unlocked them. So let's push forward, boost up the science even further, and stabilize the 2 realms we have here and get to the choke point project in about 2 months. Okay, here we go. The choke point project is done. Further study of the Hydra wormhole confirms that it closely follows the rules first set down by Homer G. Ellis in the 1969 drainhole theory. Its design is essentially 2 circular planes connected at the center by 2 smaller circles of equal diameter, like 2 combols touching, or the central part of an hourglass. The drainhole's nature means that gravity flows in a single direction, emptying any matter that passes through it into the other side. This means that traveling from the orange side requires far less energy than traveling from the opposite direction. The simplest method of neutralizing the alien threat would thus appear to be closing or destroying the wormhole on our end, therefore isolating them from their reinforcement and source of exotics. In practice, however, this approach will be far from straightforward. Okay, and here we go. We can define what we want to do now. We have studied and discussed and discarded over a dozen plans. Over time, however, a consensus emerged, and we kept coming back to varieties of the same 2 ideas: seize the wormhole or destroy it. In the end, the deciding factor was risk. Seizing the wormhole would give us the greatest potential benefit, but also carries the greatest potential danger. We still have no real grasp of how the wormhole is generated, and we have no guarantee that we will be able to understand or operate the Hydra controls. Trying to take possession of it would likely leave us holding only one end of the wormhole, struggling to figure out how to control it, while the Hydras on the other end sent a limitless stream of slave reinforcement to attack us. Besides, in the final analysis, our mission is not to seize the Hydra's mean of transport, it is to protect Earth. Closing the wormhole is the most reliable way to wreck the Hydra invasion for good. Closing the wormhole, however, is easier said than done. The obvious solution is simply to bombard the alien base from range. Unfortunately, our researchers believe that once the wormhole origin and destination were connected, the Hydras must have created some type of quantum scaffolding, relying on exotics to keep the gate open. If this is true, attacking one side of the wormhole will only cause the attack to bounce towards the opposite end. Even reducing the alien base and its astronomical body to space dust would not destroy the wormhole itself. It would inconvenience the Hydras, but our attack must be more than an inconvenience. We need to end this conflict in one decisive blow. The solution that our researchers have come up with is to attack both sides at once, compressing the gate and forcing it to collapse. Success in this mission will require precise cooperation between our scientific and military arms. Our astrophysicists and engineers will develop 2 exotic-based payloads, one for each side of the drain hole, with the intention of detonating them simultaneously. Meanwhile, we will assemble a heavily armed assault company tasked with escorting the payload operators and seizing and maintaining control over the wormhole. The entire unit will be formed of volunteers only. Realistically, we must expect that few of its members will be coming back. Okay, and there we have the final assault project that we could do now, but I'm not going to... do I want to already? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to do alien warships first to reduce damage taken. Because when we do the faction end project, there's no way we are going to go into peace with any faction here. Right now we are at more or less war with anyone anyway, but we don't necessarily have to push it. So I think that I'm going to delay the final quest a bit until we have our main drives online. So we are currently going into magnetic plasma confinement, which is the last requirement before we go magnetic nozzles here. And we are also started on inertial confinement fusion, which will be opening up the inertial confinement fusion reactor. And we also have the deuterium-tritium fusion here, which will also help us get into the inertial confinement fusion reactor. And I think it's also a requirement for some drives, if I remember correctly. So if we look at this one, it's more or less one of the high-tech fusion techs here. And if we go into the full tree, this one will unlock the inertial confinement fusion reactor 1 as said, and then we get drives from there. And we can go for the tritium nova drive here, which is a decent one. It's pretty good. And I think that's going to be the one where we end the campaign with. So it's not the best one, but it's at least a good design. We get 270 kps, which is like our Helican drive similar, but we have around 5 times the thrust from it. So this one will get a big ship out of Earth orbit and fly it to wherever we want to be. And this is of course pretty good. And if we don't want to go for this drive, which is relatively cheap with 14k, we could also go for the Confinement Fusion Reactor 2, but for that we already need deuterium fusion, which is going to be very expensive. And then we would get the Deuteron Nova Lantern, which is significantly stronger, but not the, let's say, not the super big improvement on that one. And if we want to go even deeper, we can go into the Helium Nova Lantern here, which would deuterium helium 3 fusion as a requirement. But this one is already a very big upgrade. The good thing is that these drives are all stacking on each other, so when we got the first one, we can later upgrade to the better versions if we want to. Which means we can design our first capital ship from this and then later upgrade just the engine to receive more speed and more range, and therefore finish the campaign one step at a time. Now going back here to the Inertial Confinement Fusion Reactor 1, which is relatively cheap with 10k as a project. This is going to be done pretty soon. We just wait for these global techs to be done, and we have to push a bit the magnetic nozzle now, so I'm prioritizing the magnetic plasma confinement here. We probably should... No, this one is fine. It's November, October, March, and then maybe we can finish the magnetic nozzle in time with the other two here. That would be the goal, and we have the coil guns unlocked. So we do have the particle lances, and we do have the coil guns. And with these two, we can design ships. And with those we can, for example, we can use the battle cruiser and the battleship here to then fly towards the outer system. So imagining it like this, we have designs like this, for example. Well, of course, we are not going to do it like this, but we also need the marine upgrades. Right, I completely forgot about those ones. Let's check where they are. So we need to... So marine. We need to find the marines. Marine. Oh, I should write it correctly. Marine. Yeah, we want the assault marine here, the advanced marine assault unit. Okay. We forgot the space assault marine assault doctrine, and then... Oh, and we need also the our space future. Ooh, forgot about that one. Yeah, because I skipped ringhabs for the current play. And then we can go to the resistance ranger, which we need guerrilla warfare. Interesting, I didn't know that. So let's pick up guerrilla warfare here. Here. Just so that we have the conditions unlocked. So one of the technologies here has to push the marines when these are done. So we have to delay one fusion tech a bit, but it's not... the drive is more important. The marines are only important to take out the alien bases later. And we're going to need a lot of those marines, but that's a problem for the future. So for now, I think we are at a pretty good point here. The cohesion, we had an event which dropped cohesion down by 1 again, which was quite annoying. So we dropped down a bit, but it's going up again. I'm going to go until I'm at 3 cohesion. Then I'm going to switch back into welfare to drop this one down to roughly 2, which should get us to 5 cohesion rest value again. I think roughly like this. And that's going to be our goal here. So let's just play a bit further forward here, just for a few months, and then end the episode, unless something else happens in between. Okay, let's wrap it here on the 1st of January 2035. And 9 years have passed roughly since the beginning of the campaign. And we do have a Super America on the map here. Its baseline science output is now 1.9k. So that's of course massive. And how does that work? Why do we have 2.3k Britain here? With whom are we in an alliance? It's just South America. Weird. Because we also have a higher number here. Is it... Maybe the federations get a boost, I don't know. Interesting though. Still, the baseline value is 1.9k. With advice missions, it's significantly higher. So we have now passed the point that before advice that we are higher than before the mergers, which is of course massive. So we are going to reach 10k in a short time. Also, the cohesion is still not at 5, so we are not yet maxed out on science at all. The cohesion rest value, however, is only 4.1, so that's why we are pushing a bit of welfare again to drop it down and simultaneously pull the cohesion up and the knowledge score or the education score up. And we see that we are barely making 0.2 currently with the 50 to 60% investment into knowledge from the knowledge priority, and we make 0.1 because the rest value is higher than the current cohesion, so it's going up over time, which means we get 0.3 per year per month. So if we can keep this pace, we will reach 5 in 1.6 through... Yeah, so in roughly 5 months we are going to reach cohesion 5 here. And that's going to be our maximum amount of science that we can pull off here as of now. And then I have to consider if I want to go back into mission control here, or whether I want to pull the education score first to like 13 or something. It gets slower above 12, but still this would be beneficial because we do have a pretty damn developed country here. We could also go a bit into economy to reduce the population growth hit that we currently experience. But yeah, there's a lot of potential here what we can do. We do have 64% bonus to investment in the economy priority currently because our nanofactory station is also now done, so which delivered another 10% boost to economy because 2% from each of these stations here. So that's quite significant by now. we could do this for a few months as well. Because when we do this and we invest our roughly 50 investment points into it and we get 60% bonus on that, so that's around 80 that we would invest, maybe, because we have to do a bit of welfare as well. So let's say we invest 50 into it. That would still be a lot of GDP growth in a short time. So we get 50 times 16, 17. I have no clue what that is. 85, 850 GDP growth per capita. So this one would go up by almost 1k per month. And we could go to like 60k, which was roughly the start value, if I remember correctly, of the US before all the mergers here. So just a few months of investment would pull up our investment points as well. So we would see a marginal increase of the investment points again. Because I think we can get to like 40 or 45 baseline investment points before advice. That would be possible. I mean, we could test it out. Why not? Let's just check it out. So we do 1 month of something like this here. So 75 points go in there. 42 points is that before advice missions. Let's see what happens if you do it like this.
Lending my expertise.
So I have 46 points.
Making things safe for our people.
46 points that we invest, which is 60 into economy. And that the growth should be massive here. That we see within one mission phase even.
We've moved the needle.
Yeah, we can see the number go up like
Public
crazy.
opinion is moving in our direction.
So this
Order
is
returning.
very quick growth. We could do this for a while. Can we see a growth here as well? 37, 2.8. 0.03. Okay, it's growing. It's roughly growing by 0.02 per day as well. Which isn't that bad, because if you consider that, it's almost 1 investment point per month that we get. 0.6, 0.7, something like that. That's not too shabby, because it's the unmodified base value. And then we get like 40% on top of that, and then all the modifiers on top of that. So this is worth a consideration to do after we have fixed the cohesion though. Because now we see that our rest value has decayed to 3.4 again. I don't know what has happened, probably some public campaign by someone here. Yeah, someone has arrived here. And that's why we are not going to do this as of now. Instead, I'm going to trim down economy again. We don't need to do that much knowledge now because our cohesion rest value is a problem. So let's pump into welfare more to get the cohesion value up. Up, up, up. We still also can fix the democracy score, but that's a lot less efficient. Because we would only get 0.00046790. Sorry, I'm done for today. 0.00469 per investment point. We also only get 35% bonus here from our stations and so on. So even if we were to invest like 50 per month in there, that would only be around 0.25 per month. So it would take us at least half a year, if not more, to fix the democracy score to close to 10. Of course, it will be about... How was it? I think the maximum value you can get is +3. So maybe that's not too shabby as well. Maybe let's just go to cohesion, to inequality 2 and then push the government to 10. And then we should be close enough at the rest value of 5 again. We just need to get roughly to 5 and then we can solve the rest with the knowledge investments here. Yeah, we got 500 GDP in just one mission phase. Which is about 1% growth. That's economic growth that every economist would dream of. 1% GDP growth per 2 weeks. They're calculating that on a year. That would be an economic growth of... Wait a second. 24% economic growth per year. That's something, yeah. Every politician and every economist would dream of that. That's a massive increase if we were to pull that through, but we don't. But just imagine, like, if we were to do this now. We have so many modifiers on economy by now, and on knowledge and everything, so that's extremely interesting. Okay, next step's going to be the magnetic nozzle here. And when these two are done, we have to do the Marines project, but we also have to unlock the latest or high-tech armor, diamondoids and adamantine armor. No, diamondoids we have, but adamantine armor is the project. Because we lack 2 projects, 2 global techs for getting them, which is something related to shipbuilding, which I didn't go for. I think it was the next generation aerospace here, and then the improved shipbuilding techniques, which I want anyway. And I think there is also the rapid shipbuilding project in there, which I want as quickly as possible as well. Because then we can go into the high-tech armor and we get the modifier on ship construction speed. All of those are quite juicy. And then we can push out our late-game capital ships to win the campaign with that. So next episode is going to be quite interesting because we are going to unlock a lot of critical technologies here. So leave a like and subscribe, and see you in the next episode where we are going to continue this fun right here.